Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. AI isn't just writing essays and generating memes, it's changing how companies actually work. Ravenna has just raised $50 million from Khosla Ventures and Madrona to reimagine helpdesks with AI, automating internal support and making employees happier in the process. My guest today, Taylor Halliday, co-founder of Ravenna and former director of engineering at Zapier, is here to talk about building products that scale, raising money from top investors, and what AI at work really looks like. Welcome to the pod, sir.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Dope merch, by the way. Like the hat.
Hey, if we don't do anything right in these several years of this company, I think we got the hat situation nailed, all right?
That's what raising $50 million will do, right? You have to have cool merch.
It didn't have anything to do with this logo. That was all us, you know? So,
So
man,
what problem were you trying to solve with Ravenna that you couldn't solve with Zapier? I mean, Zapier basically automation tools. What problems were you trying to solve?
I want to be clear too. So I came from Zapier, you know, and it is such a cool company. It's going to be interesting in fun ways. And they're ahead of the mark on so many different things for automation. Okay. At the end of the day, though, it's very much like an integration tool. If you've used it, you know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of depth that you can go into you can kind of start to feel it after a while of like how deep you can actually bring some of these automations at the end of the day. And so that's kind of why I wanted to go a little deeper here, effectively, and try to rethink like what a larger platform would be. And so to explain Ravenna, so we are doing a help desk. You can think about the IT help desk, the HR help desk. So it's not just the AI, although that's an extremely important part. We have a full-blown ticketing platform. We have a full-blown rethought from the ground up, basically like, you know, service platform effectively that is, you know, think linear-esque. It's built from a modern standpoint, something that people love to use. And on top of that, there's automations. And so that was kind of the gap, I guess, would say, is that I very much wanted to think about what the opportunity was for not just the AI and the automation here, but also a system of record. Like what could actually be, you know, different if you actually own the full vertical stack.
Why? Why bet on that? Why not something else? What did you see in the market that made you go, oh, okay, this is it?
I'll go back to Zapier again.
Yeah.
I used to run new products and there, which means like if you've ever used Zapier or are familiar with the products there, anything that's not a Zap, a ZAP, like I was in charge of standing that product up effectively. Okay. There came a time during the ChatGPT fun bonanza era where we were trying to figure out like, hey, how can we leverage AI to build something that means a lot for like mid-market enterprise? So I started going around with basically some of the Rolodex of the founders and just started talking to a lot of mid-market operations, or excuse me, like mid-market, like C-level directors, like, hey, you know, broad conversation, wave a magic wand. What do you think AI can help you with the most? You know, I heard some feedback over and over and over again around basically like this idea that like, hey, look, I think AI can help me kind of homegrown efficiency at my organization in a way that I can never do from a top level down standpoint. That if somehow AI can come into this place and help us kind of stuff, it's going to make our marketer, who as much as I love our marketer, I don't know what they do at the end of the day. I'm a CEO, who knows, kind of stuff. Yeah. It's going to help, going to create efficiency that was not able to be had before from a top down level. And so those were kind of like some like larger strokes that I heard on a lot of this type of listening tour. And that's what really kind of tuned my ears to like, hey, I'm really curious about basically thinking about like how to go ahead and create a product that can help bring like efficiency call to internal operations.
And how long did that take you? How long did you go on that listening tour, from listening to the problem until sort of, okay, cool, I really want to build this. This sounds cool.
I would say, I don't know, that was, you know, 2023-ish era. And then, you know, I'll be honest with you, I think at the very beginning of 2024.
Okay.
I love working at Zapier. I'll say it again. Great company, but like I thought it was time to. I've done entrepreneurial stuff in the past, and started my own company with my current co-founder actually, and just like we need to figure out something to get back into the game with. And if you want to know the kind of bit of backstory, it was actually him. He worked at AWS, ran go-to-market for the containers and serverless division over there, and was just like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And was just like, look, man, there's this tool at AWS that was built by AWS. simple issue manager. This thing is like what you use to ask for like requests across the org. Pretty simple in the face of it, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. But like, look, man, he's like, it's the grease and enterprise cogs here. Like this thing that you use to ask for basically service and requests across the org. If this thing were to come down, the whole organization would come to a halt. Like, what is this broader market? And I didn't really know at the time. Started realizing ServiceNow, Fresh Service, Jira Service Management. These are like internal service operation centers that help organizations basically run efficiently by streamlining requests, what have you. And so started looking around and just being like, it's not a podcast. I don't know. Call this. I wasn't very inspired by a lot of the incumbents I saw in the space, and so I think that was some of the original like impetus for like maybe take a little layer deep here, a little closer.
Mm, interesting. When you pitch it to investors, what did you say to them that make them go, "Ooh, I like this"? Because $50 million is a lot of money, man.
You're right. It is. I wish I could tell you I came in there with like this really well thought out pitch and like the best
Okay.
pitch deck ever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's not how it worked out. Uh, what happened was I was working at Zapier. We were talking to potential customers about this thing if we were to go build it. I was building the prototype on the side. Pretty crazy times. Went to some investors being like, hey, because we had these customers being like, are you going to go to market with this thing? You're still working at Zapier. I'm like, I know. And it's and
Yeah.
so we're building this thing on the nights and weekends. And finally, we're like, we should get some advice from some investors. And that meeting turned into our first term sheet. I swear to God, it was just for advice. No term sheet. No, not,
What?
excuse me. There was a term sheet, but there's no pitch deck or anything inside of there.
Nothing.
Um,
Just a conversation.
yeah,
That's
yeah, that was weird.
crazy.
I know.
Did you know these people? Did you sort of, not at all?
Not really. No, not really. And then like that kicked off a larger thing where I freaked out, being like, well, what do we do with this situation? And got a
Yeah.
lot of feedback from CEOs and other people being like, cool, you didn't think you were raising, but you are. So
Yeah.
you need to go talk to as many people as possible, and try to figure out if those are the right people to work with, if that's the right amount, what have you. And so uh yeah, just started just cold calling a bunch of investors after that, being like, hey, I have this thing. And if people even pick up, they'd be like, oh, talk to the partner in 3 months or something like that. I was like,
Okay.
cool. I have a term sheet. And they're like, what are you doing in 2 hours? Like, like
What?
it's pretty funny. Yeah,
So
man,
they
it's
went
weird.
from well, whatever to okay, cool. Let's do lunch. Just because you said I've already got a term sheet, so someone was willing to invest in me. So there's something to look at here. That's crazy, man.
Interesting psychology, man. I don't know. It's complicated and it's
Interesting
not. But
psychology.
that
Yeah,
if I'm just telling you the honest truth of the whole
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like that's how
yeah.
the way it started, at least. Yeah.
So you're not looking to replace people with AI, right? Or is it making people more or companies more efficient? Because that's a hot topic at this stage.
Yeah. And I think there's like that topic spans some of the tactical stuff, like what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to fire, we're going to keep this person. It spans like also these
Yes.
meta or like super long horizon. Like, what's AI mean at the end of the day? I'll tell you some anecdotes that like I've heard from customers and
Yeah.
kind of do what you will with it. It's the woman who runs a revenue operations desk who we work closely with. Very much asking her like, what's the value you're getting out of us? And we're having these good conversations and feedback, like how things are going. And she was just like, look, at the end of the day, the thing I'm super excited about employing your guys' tool in our operations area is that like it's giving us so much time back from stuff that people were actually going ahead and asking all these like questions and getting people involved, and basically it's giving us time back. I'm like, that's great, cool. What are you going to do with that time? Are you going to let people go? What have you? And she's like, no. It's like at the end of the day, I work for like the revenue group here, like a CRO, right? It's
Mm,
our job to help push the ball forward on product strategy, on how we're going to make the place more efficient. The less time that we spend answering questions that are redundant, repeated over and over and over, that allows us to work on this higher value stuff that we want to be working on anyways, and that should really move the needle on these different things. So that's much more of a glass half full approach, more of just like the
mm.
the approach of like I'm not making this up. That's very much for words, and so. That's what I've heard so far, and that's what a lot of people seem to think. It's that this is a kind of like a doubling down of efficiency for us, being able to save so much time.
Interesting. What's been the hardest part building Ravenna? Especially like from lessons you learned at Zapier. What would you say did you struggle the most with?
It's so funny, man. Doing the entrepreneurial stuff, there's so many things you touch from product and engineering and go to
Mm.
market, and like everything kind of changes. Like I feel like I think part of the deal, like with building companies, is like you just mob on the most important issue, and then that's the most important issue until it's not anymore. You kind of somewhat got it figured out. Then you go find the next most important issue. So there's a series of those. I sometimes feel like that's like the name of the game, effectively.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like one of the things is that like it's funny, like this market, what I said before, I didn't really know existed. That then it turns out it's a pretty large market. Okay.
Mm.
And I think on the surface, like everyone's like, oh, it's cool, old, stodgy market, like, perfect. To draw a contrast, earlier in my like entrepreneurial career with the companies I used to create before, I used to be like, what's a new thing that no one's ever thought of, and I'll try to go build that thing. I learned pretty fast that like it's fun to work on that stuff, but like the problem with that stuff typically means that there's no market for it because no one's ever heard of the damn thing. Um, the trade-off being like, hey, look, big market, okay? But nothing in life is for free. And what I'm trying to say here is that like there's a
Where's my
lot.
customers? And you build it, and they go, "Where's my customers?
Oh
Why is
yeah.
no one coming?"
Um, when you build I think this is true. I haven't heard much people talk about this, but I think like the
Yeah.
trade-off when you build like an established large markets, the thing that comes with that is that there's a lot of software to build because the expectations have been created over years and years and years. Like you have buyers who come to expect so many different features, and the breadth of the platform and stuff that they need in order to complete a sale is much bigger than like the new thing that may or may not exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what does Ravenna do very well in the new thing that you're most proud of? I think that most people would go, okay, that's cool. That's why I want to sign up.
Cool. I would say, like, for the most part, this is a podcast. I should be saying AI. You're talking to a guy from Zapier. And so I think in terms of automations here, to be frank with you, and I think that's kind of the promise of AI at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah,
we're doing a better job of giving people time back by not making them do the same type of things they're doing before in terms of answering questions, taking actions on just very well-known stuff that comes across these desks. And, I'll just quickly say two other kind of mini things. Sorry to say it
yeah.
should be one. Doing it well, giving like beautiful insights and analytics. Another just crucial thing to understand about the buyer in this space is that you need to come with a great way to help them shine the work that they're doing, how they're influencing the org. And then three, if you've seen the website, big focus on making sure that this thing works extremely well in team chat based applications, namely Slack.
All right. So focus on organization because of your background that you come from, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So you know how you like it, and then okay, makes sense. What's next for Ravenna? All right, you've been building, and we're chugging along, and we've got funding secured. Is it scaling the business? Is it building new features? Is it onboarding customers? What exactly are we looking at?
I mean, you can keep going. I think all those apply. I mean, yeah, like
Trying not to lose your mind, trying not to go crazy. Yeah, all those things.
yeah, I mean, I'd say if you want transparently know, like we've been building the thing for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
We're just going to market. We're just going to market right now. And I think like when you do that, you hold your breath a lot of times as a founder or
Mm,
entrepreneur, just being like, okay, we've been building this thing for a while. Like people are actually going to buy it. They're going to like it. And so like we're still small, but the answer like so far seems to be like, yes, like we built something that people enjoy and they will pay for, which is awesome. Like that's kind of thumbs up all around. It's like, it doesn't mean you conquered the world yet, but like you kind of
what
passed like a mini little hump.
what weird concept, building something people actually buy. What a weird concept, right?
Yeah, man, lots to say there. There's lots of kind of like misdirection you can get as an entrepreneur. Like you think you're building the right thing, but you're not. And I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm not saying I know it all, but I've definitely done that a lot.
but you've been
And
there,
so
right? Because you've seen actual stuff being built that people will pay for. That's what I think the secret sauce is.
yeah, I think my mom test book does a pretty good job capturing some of those learnings too. I feel like I've had kind of, where like classic thing. I went through YC at one point with my co-founder, and
Yeah,
I remember like their thing is like talk to users, talk to users, talk to users. Like, okay, cool. All we gotta do is talk to users. That's gonna solve our problems. So we do that, and we're trying to figure out like what to build next. And then like I realized like quickly, like the second like you had these I was just really bad at having these conversations in retrospect.
okay.
And again, I'll say the mom test book does a kind of good job. I thought like after I went through this to kind of like give me the willy nillies. It's just
Yeah.
like it's a lot of people are like when you have those type of conversations, a lot of times like those hypotheticals, like, hey, if I built this, would you use it? People are like, yeah, I think so. Um, and younger me was like, sweet, this is awesome. I'm gonna go do that, right?
Uh,
Uh, it turns out like that's not a great way to have a user interview. And anyway, made a lot of mistakes along the way. So I guess I was just trying to say that like what's
yeah.
next for us? It's kind of like just gassing what we're at right now, which is like we're going to market. We're just starting to do some outbound. We're doing like more outbound than our personal networks. Like that crank is just slowly going here. It's a good thing in the sense that like people are buying for this thing, they're paying for it. But the best part about it is like there's like a mountain, like an overwhelming tsunami of feedback coming through, which is like thank God again, well, we have that double-edged sword. Keeps people really busy throughout the day and night, so it's just like it's everything, man, and it's getting more folks on board to help with that. Yeah.
Feedback is a really weird thing when you think about it because people are not really paid for to provide that feedback and then quality of feedback. Don't you find that
Mhm.
feedback is a weird thing?
I think it's funny in the sense that like I don't want to say this right.
No, just say it.
um Little do some people know when we talk about pricing, like I would be paying them for just like their feedback alone at
Oh
this stage.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah.
yeah, you're selling a product that people want, but like the one of the most important things, frankly speaking, especially at this stage, like money, you need to have money as like a proof point for sure. But like,
Uh-huh.
we're funded enough where like the lights aren't going out anytime soon. What's like the most critical thing at this point is like getting people, I'm sorry, you can't force people to do this, but like having people so emotionally invested in your product, like this is really great. Here are the four gaps that like it's going to make this even better. Like having that,
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
you can't pay money for that.
You can.
Oh yeah, 'cause you can't. Maybe you can
You
like find an agency. I
can,
don't know.
but
Whatever.
I don't know how trustworthy it will be. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
people
yeah. So
are
I mean, like
invested in so many things. They've got so many interests outside. And it's
totally.
life and it's children and it's hobbies and it's sports and it's this and this. Okay, cool. But what do you think about my thing? And that's
Yeah, yeah. And then paying or not paying. When someone takes time to write you an absolute like novel and a very very thoughtful novel in Slack about like here's the things that are great. Here are the things that the first thing that you do, I feel like as a builder is like, oh my god, like straight to the heart. They're calling out all these issues, but then like immediately right after that, that emotion's replaced with like they care. They really,
yeah.
they oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like who would take this moment to write all that stuff, like, right? It's like,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
really cool thing.
Okay. Last question before I let you leave. Do you think AI is going to get exponentially better in the next year or two, or have we hit a plateau sort of where we've gone from, oh, the new iPhone has a new camera bump, or we've changed the UI a bit, or something like that. Oh, because the jump for me from GPT, let's say one, there was two, and then three, and then from four to five, I don't see the. I'm using GPT as an example of AI. Obviously, there's loads of stuff out there, but I just feel like we've hit a plateau. So, from someone on the inside, I'd like to know what you are saying. Is it something? Should we hold our breath? Is this where we are at the moment? What's going on?
Couple thoughts here. One, I'm not a genie, so this is my 2 cents, right?
Okay. Yeah. Let's
I
take a
don't have,
stab at
don't,
it.
don't have a crystal ball, like
Yeah.
anything could happen in this world.
Okay.
I don't know. I actually, it's kind of funny. As a pet interest, I do pay a lot of attention to like this conversation, and you can actually recharacterize this. Like, is the limiting factor power and data? There's a big
Uh,
cohort of AI folks out there that say if we just have more power, more data, we'll have more sophistication and better models. Okay, it's
if
called power and data maximalists.
if we didn't need
And
to pay
there's
for training data, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
a
that's
one.
power and data maximalists. That falls in the same camp. We ran out of data, so we need to make sense that there's a lot of stuff that goes with that, and it's extremely smart people who are in that camp. There's also some people who are in another camp who say, "Look, we don't have the correct architecture, we don't have the correct algorithms, kind of stuff, and we're exhausting what we have from transformer based, like basically models, what have you." And so, where I sit between there, I'll be honest with you, I kind of suspect that we're nearing the edge of some of the walls of the architecture issue. That's my sense of some of it, and that's the reason why I said at the beginning too. I don't have a crystal ball. It's just as easy
Mm,
for someone else to come up with a new transformer paper tomorrow. And then
yeah.
that opinion's out the window. So where we're headed, I don't know. I think when we're at today, I do think you're seeing some leveling off of the current architecture and tricks of the trade, so to speak.
Mm.
It's be interesting to see what comes next in terms of new tricks, new architectures, and new methods and means for producing intelligence.
That's the beauty. Is tomorrow someone will make a breakthrough, and it's a whole new paradigm shift. That's the
Yeah,
beauty.
I'm not. yeah, I'm always along for the ride, man. Try to do your best you can to predict the future. But
just be present and build. Love
it's
it.
already hard enough to be present, right?
Taylor, thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to go and connect with you and Ravenna and find out more about what you do and your product and how it can help their businesses, where can they connect with you?
Thanks so much. Appreciate you having me on.
Now I'm looking for ways to connect to you, brother. Where's your links?
Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Where's your links? Like, where can people connect with you? Where can they find you?
Oh, gotcha. My bad. I'm sorry. I thought you said something else.
That would be my bad.
No, number one, the website, Ravenna.ai. That's an easy one. I can send you my email, Twitter, what have you. All the good ways.
With all the links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. And to all listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.
Two hearts that never found their time, but still you're carved into my life. I can't erase the wounds we keep, but I will guard them while you sleep. I can't erase the wounds we keep, but I will guard them while you sleep. Store pain, so let me be the shadow near, not a flame, just quiet here. Through your rain I'll stand unseen, a shelter where your tears can lean. We heard the same, the world's divide. I'll keep you close on the silent side. I hear your voice beneath the rain, a fragile song of hidden pain. No need for words, I understand. I'll hold your grief inside my hands. If the night consumes you, if the pain still rules you, I'll fade into the silence to share the storm that carries you. Shadow near, not a flame, just quiet here. Even if fate keeps us apart, you'll live forever in my heart. We love the same, though fate denied. I'll keep you close on the silent side. Pain, heart, never alone, even in silence.